Good day, everyone. My name is Florence Opudalin, and you are watching Multicultural Community Hour. I come from a culture where community defines the people. Community is everything. My culture believes that a thriving community is the foundation for fulfilling life potentials. We therefore place huge emphasis on making our community strong. This show is about our community, your community. Multiculturalism seeks the inclusion of the views and contributions of diverse members of society, while maintaining respect for their differences and withholding the demand for their assimilation into the dominant culture. Canada thrives on multiculturalism. Here with me to present to you, to talk to you about, or to talk to us about our community today is Marcia Matanga. Marcia Matanga is from the Canadian Multicultural Disabilities Center Incorporated here in Manitoba, and they are doing work with the disability community. So I'm so excited to have you, Marcia. Thank you for joining us. Before we go ahead, can you please tell the viewers what your organization do?
So as you said, we're with the Canadian Multicultural Disability Community Association. What we do is we identify solutions and opportunities for persons with disability, specifically in the ethno-cultural communities, to participate and live a full life in Canada. We also enhance the skills of persons with disabilities, whether it be job networking, health resources and benefits, as well as literacy within the community.
That's exciting. I am an immigrant myself, and I hear you talk about the ethnocultural communities. How hard has that been working with the ethnocultural communities in the light of disability? How open have they been to your work?
They've been actually very open. Of course, there's difficulty a little bit, like just going through the processes, but it's been received really well. We do a lot of different programs that we run throughout the year to really help engage and help people with disabilities just live a full life here.
That's really nice. I'm so happy we have an organization like this to take care of some of the individuals in our community that ordinarily will not have been able to achieve their potentials. So thank you so much. I just want to take you to another aspect of this work that you do, and just tell us as an organization, how challenging has that been for you in terms of the work you do?
So there are a couple challenges that we do face just generally in different cultures where disability is seen as more of a problem, where our community wants disabilities. Bless you. Our community wants disability. Like our mission statement is that disability is seen as a natural phenomenon, like it's a thing of beauty, that to enhance and to celebrate those where coming from different places, disability can seen as you get ostracized or you don't get a lot of the same help, especially if you are new to Canada, and it's already difficult for individuals to have to change completely just the way of life, and then just imagine being disabled on top of that.
In fact, while you were speaking, my mind was just thinking back on us as my family as immigrants here, the challenges we face settling down, and how hard it must have been for a person living with disability. Do you think your organization is getting all the help they need from other agencies in terms of collaboration? And again, I know funding is a general thing, but how easy is it for you to do the work you do?
I would say we have been, CMDCI has been here for many, many years, so it has been a process of getting funding, and we actually have been getting good funding. But there's always work to do, right? So there's always people to help.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I just want to also ask you, being in the disability community, what challenges do you face trying to get the individuals that you support or that you work with, into the mainstream, like getting a job, living their full potentials, even in sports and other areas. Has there been a lot of challenges in that area?
Oh, yes. So,
I'm sorry to top of it. Being an immigrant, does that pose a level of a challenge as well?
oh, yes, of course. So, a lot of the time there's many variations of disability. So you do have disability that's very visible.
Oh, we all have disability.
Yeah. So for instance, like my father, who's actually started the organization, is blind. And then we also have more mental health disabilities, and some of these disabilities are unseen. So what happens is when you have, even children that are coming into Canada, or parents that are coming into Canada and they're going into the school system, or they're wanting to do different programs, and the disabilities that are unseen, the children or the individuals are seen as, kind of combative or problems, but they're just not being identified properly as actually being disabled or having issues. So our organization inspires to bring awareness to that, and awareness into those communities where we network with different resources and other communities to really help those individuals. We work with families as well, just to provide more information and understanding, and then also help with communication. Because especially if you're an immigrant and you're learning, you have to learn a new way of life. It's hard, even if you're just, a regular person, right?
Yeah.
So you could only imagine when there are other issues that you're experiencing. It makes it way more difficult.
I can hear you. I can attest to that. And I guess that also, thank you so much for that. I was just going to ask regarding the families. How receptive are families over your organization discussing about issues that might crop up due to a child having some disability? How is it easy for you to go into families? Because the reason why I ask that is that I know in the African setup, disability is treated as it's not openly discussed, and sometimes there is denial involved, and sometimes there is a group of belief system that surround this as well. So how have you been able to overcome all these challenges to get to the point where the families are now able to trust you and talk to you?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So a lot of the time, depending on where you come from, there's a lot of pushback where disability is seen almost like witchcraft, or so there's all these silent suffering of families that sometimes there's shame, they feel shame, or so, and other feelings and other, within the community. So what we like to do as part of our organization is just first educate on the different variables of disability, the different range, and to really share with these families that it is a natural phenomenon, and it is a blessing, and there are blessings in there, and just kind of educating on the different ways of care for these individuals, and also supporting the families, because a lot of the time the caregivers as well, they also experience their own issues, or sadness, and not their fault, of course, but so just educating the family as a whole, being understanding with the families and very empathetic with them, so that they know that we are here for them, and we are able to support them through a lot of our programs, and very, very fun programs where we include all ages. So there's lots of room for education, growth, and actually a fun time for the kids as well.
No, that's wonderful. That's nice. Viewers, today we are talking about community. We are talking about our community, your community. What makes a good community? What makes a strong community? What makes a strong community is when each and every one of us understands the differences that we have, and we bring all these differences together to work for the good of all. Today we are concentrating we are focusing on disability, and the Canadian Multicultural Disability Center is here to tell us more about the work they do. Yes. So Matanga, if we can move on, can you talk to us about how you have used technology to influence this or the life of a lot of people living in disability?
Yeah, so when it comes to technology, as you know, it's growing very fast. So a lot of the different programs, they're not attuned to persons with disabilities, whether they be physical disabilities, whether it's handicap with limbs, or whether it is being blind, or whether it is more of like a mental handicap. So what we do as a community, we do research-based studies. We go to different conferences to understand the different technology variables in these new programs and, like cell phones or laptops and softwares. And then we see how can these programs or softwares be adaptable for persons with disabilities, and also persons with disabilities specifically in the ethnocultural community, where it makes it really not really easy, but just more able to actually use these resources and, just laptops in schools, right? So, yeah.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. It's amazing that as a group and as a community, or let me first of all say as an immigrant to this country, one of the challenges we face, I don't know, maybe your dad will know, we'll talk more of that. By the way, viewers, I met that, a wonderful man, a role model for me, living here in Manitoba. He has been someone that I look out for whenever we go to occasions. When I see him, I'm so happy he comes, and he's out there. He has been out there fighting and advocating for people living with disability in the ethnocultural community. So he's one person that ethnocultural community is very, very proud of. And to think that I'm sitting here with the daughter, I'm so, how will I put it up? I'm kind of humbled, I'm really, really humbled to know that I'm not just sitting with somebody that's done such a great work, but that the new generation coming forward is also carrying the work ahead. So thank you so much for all the work you all do. I guess our next level of discussion is on how do you have success stories?
We have quite a lot of success stories. So one of the programs that we run is called the Tree of Life. It is a program that is run from July to August, where we take we reach out to new immigrant families with kids, and we bring them to our community center, where they learn education on the life of Canada, and we identify resources for those kids. And we've been doing this for many, many years. And actually, I run into some of the kids when I'm at other conferences like TED Talk conferences, and they recognize and the growth that you see from the youth. It's actually amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I just want to, just out of curiosity, to talk about how the children, like I was going to talk about it initially, and that is going back to the challenges. I know when I was talking to some immigrant families, when they are filling out their immigration forms to come to Canada, and if they indicate that one of their children are disabled, have some disability, the chances are that that form is rejected because of those. And now parents have to either lie on the forms or their forms are outrightly rejected. So do you see a lot of children migrating here with the disability, or the disability was, and I mean, you can answer or not, you can choose to answer or not, but I just want to know whether we have more adults with disability coming into Canada, or it's something that was, happened to them when they are here. I'm not saying it's because of the environment or not,
Yes.
but I'm just asking based on the feeling of the forms and families telling me that they have to lie. And then when they come here, they have to continue on that lie. And then,
Yeah, and that is a great question. So we do see the results of that in the aspect where, let's say a family just didn't disclose that information, and then they're putting, for instance, their child into education, and then their child is seen as, insubordinate or difficult, and the families don't want to relay the information that there is a problem going on because of the fear of rejection within the community and the Canadian culture as well. So there is that extra barrier, and there's also fear of, even not getting approved to stay in Canada because of these issues. So we do see a lot of the results of what happens when families feel silenced and unable to care for their children in the best way, where we do have, and in Canada, we do have a lot of resources for persons with disabilities of all ages, and these ethno-cultural communities, they can't access that because they're not sharing that information. So there is that barrier and a lot of difficulty. We do see that a lot, and that as part of our mission is to identify and empower those persons and families in those communities, because it is a community. It is community work when it comes to persons with disabilities of all ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for enlightening us on this topic. Folks, if you are wondering how you are dealing with this, if you are someone dealing with an issue like this and you are wondering where to go to, can you tell us your address? I just want you to give us your address, your contact, phone number to call.
So the Canadian Multicultural Disability Community Association is located at 1239 Manahine Avenue, which is in South Winnipeg. And our phone number is 204-453-0391. You can feel free to reach out to us if you want to be a part of our community, whether it be joining one of our summer student programs, we help with applications, job literacy. We also help with computer technology. So we have lots of computers, and we train persons with disabilities how to use different computers and use different phones as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Marcia. Folks, I know a lot of us immigrants have difficulties finding a job, and we complain about our accent, we complain about qualifications, experience, and it's unimaginable to think about people with disability, the challenges that they will be facing. I myself, I work in the field of disability, so I understand how hard it is for people living with some disability to get a job in this place. And I was wondering, have you, as an organization, how have you guys been able to transcend these challenges?
By networking with other organizations, and we also hire as well students. We hire a lot of do summer internship with a lot of different students as well. To empower persons with disabilities to know that they can go into the job market. They could feel comfortable even with their disabilities to go into the job market, and we identify where they best would suit different jobs, and then we guide them to help them apply based on what they want to do, of course.
Thank you once again, Marcia, for being here. I just want to ask, and feel free to answer, and if not, that's okay. I was just, in my mind, I'm thinking about the typical immigrant family works a lot, and how hard it will be for them to care for a child with disability, and knowing that they have to spend more time with the child. How have they been, is your organization working in any part to educate these families about the need to devote more time for this child? And that's one of the questions. Another question I have, and feel free to jump in at any time, is I know living with a child living with disability can do everything if given the necessary apparatus. And you talked about technology. So I'm just wondering how the society or the ethnocultural community has been able to adapt so well to use this technology. I'm just having in my mind an 8-year-old boy wanting to play soccer or play basketball with his mates and not being able to communicate with words, not being able to hear what they are saying. Have your organization been able to move into the next step of trying to bring these kids into the general society to socialize?
That is a fantastic question. So we are currently still working on opening up more opportunities for persons with disability, especially children with disabilities, to be able to participate fully in whether it be sports or, extracurricular activities. And also, there is a lack of programs and spaces for persons with disability, whether it be youth disability, teenage disability and adult disability, where there are spaces where they can actually function in an environment where they can play sports and not be segregated to a side. And that is, it's still a problem that we are working on, because also as well is we are working with a family right now who does have a child that does have disabilities, and the wait times for stuff is almost about 2 years. So you're waiting for these services that do take time. So as part of our community, we do want to open up, our goal is to open up more spaces and centers for persons with disabilities to come and feel that they are, there is no disability when you come in here. And all of the equipment and the machines are created for persons with disability to feel that they don't have disability, whether it be playing soccer or whether it be, for instance, neurodivergent. If you do have like autism, for instance, it's difficult for them to participate in different programs just because of their challenges. So advocating, what we like to do is advocate to different communities, even in schools, to really help to promote that space for individuals, and also educating peers. A lot of the time, peers aren't as educated in regards to these disabilities, so these children do feel ostracized. They do feel alone in it, and so do the families. And as you mentioned, most of the immigrant families, they're busy working. It's a full-time job, and many of them have more than one kid. So you can only imagine that it is difficult to spend the time to educate the parents, which is the biggest support for that child, is the education of the parents. And if the parents are busy, just trying to survive, right? Just trying to put food on the table for the kids, you can only imagine that it is difficult. Our hopes and our dreams and plan for the future is to open up more community spaces for persons with disabilities, neurodivergent disabilities as well, that is almost seen, it's just a part of life. It's not somewhere where we have to, go to different resources and research to find help for these children. It's available there in every community. In every community center, there's a sportsplex. But a lot of these programs will, for instance, have maybe one program for children with disabilities within the year for a month, while other programs will run for 11 months. So that is something that we do hope to get more funding on, to open up, especially for, youth, preteen youth, early adult youth, and just that support in that community for them, where they can go into spaces and we can educate siblings as well to
very good point.
Yes, where we could educate everyone around to understand and to really support and love love persons with disabilities, and not to see it as a disability, not to see it as a label, which is what happens when someone does get labeled. Everyone just starts to look at them and treat them in that certain space. And our mission is that should no longer be. We should be moving forward to more adaptability in the community for persons with disabilities as a whole.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really, when you said the word inclusivity, I was so happy to hear that, because as a community, we should aim towards including everybody. Our community should be inclusive of all manner of people and everybody. Nobody should feel less and nobody should feel greater. All the services provided should be for all. And our goal is to have every child out there enjoy what everybody else is enjoying. We all have disability in one way or the other, right? Yeah. There are so many things I cannot do. My disability might not be visible, but it doesn't mean that I'm okay. And so when we look at the people with visible disability, we feel, with a label, we try to label them in our minds. I think that's where we need to work together as a community to ensure that our community, as a strong community, we should be able to give access, equal access, and opportunity for every child, regardless. Like you mentioned, community centers have programs, or some programs and services for all day, but 2 hours for disability, which that's really, when you said that, I'm like, as a community, we need to improve. We need to improve. Viewers, if you have a comment on this, please send us an email and send your comments to Marcia as well. We'll be glad to read your comment. Again, this is, we are talking today about people living with disability, organization working in the ethnocultural community to ensure that our children and families living with children with disability have access to all the stuff that they are supposed to have, right? All the services and all the technologies that that will help them in the work that they are doing. So I just want to thank you once again for being here. I guess one last question I have is, what do you wish that other people will know about you, about the organization? What is your wish? As an organization, what do you wish?
Our wish is that disability in all shapes and forms is seen as a natural phenomenon and seen as an ability, not a lack of. That there are, regardless of whether you have disability, especially in Canadian life, where there is, in the ethnocultural community, where there is language barriers, there's cultural barriers, religious barriers, that we treat persons with individuals as whole, as complete, and that services in the community are free access for persons with disabilities, where they feel anywhere they go, they're seen. There isn't a struggle in wondering, how do I navigate in this space here, because it's already there within the community, where persons don't have to find 4 or 5 or 6 different resources to get help for themselves or their families, that it's within the community that we support one another.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching Multicultural channel. Please follow us on social media and join us next week as we present another organization here to talk about how we can make our community stronger. Thank you.